Hello there, this is Roberto Matthews with another tip for you. Today I'm going to talk about how to click to restart animations, CSS animations, especially if they're in sequence. How to click on your page and be able to restart the animation. Now if you want to fast forward straight to the actual coding of the animation, click here. But for those of you who would like to know how I set it all up, please continue watching. So if you haven't heard of MethodDraw, it's a great place, a great web app that allows you to create very quickly and very easily SVG. So what I'm going to do here is show you, for example, this sun and things like that. Sometimes I even come here to just pick up some SVG, some perfectly done SVG icons. But in the meantime, I'm just going to show you that this sun is a separate thing. The welcome, this is just a regular background over here with a linear gradient. Then I have the front wave, I have the back wave, I have the piece of land. Okay, so we're just going to take that, we're going to go to view, we're going to go to source. This is the entire source code. We're going to copy this, and then we're going to come over to my pen here. I like to put my SVGs in a div. It's not required to do this, but I like doing that just in case I need to manipulate it somehow. We're going to paste it into there. Now obviously this SVG is kind of wider than my display here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the view box to 0, 0, and then the width and the height of the entire view box, 360. And then I'm going to change this width to be 100% and this height to be 100%. And now it's responsive. Very good. Okay, the other thing that I need to do to clean up is I want to make sure that all the IDs match. Okay, so one of the disadvantages, the only real one that I can see from MethodDraw, is that there's no way to really change the ID of the text, for example, or of this path. There's no way to double click and change the ID. Okay, so you'll have to do that yourself. So we're going to try to figure out what each one of these paths is. So this first path, let's make it black. And so now we know that that's the actual back wave. So let's undo that. And let's give this an ID of back wave. Good. And then we're going to go to this next one right here. Make this one black. And that's the front wave. So let's undo that and go to here and say front wave. And then let's go to this next one here, and we're just going to go ahead and ID each one of these. So now that we have everything ID'd, we can go ahead and access it through CSS. So let's go ahead and do that. Now in the CSS, the first thing I want to do is I want to give my body the same color as this. That way it looks like this island is just in like an island in between all the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say body, give it a background, and to find it we're going to go to our front wave. So let's go ahead and find the front wave. So we got the back wave, here's the front wave right here. So the front wave fill was this. So we're going to give this the same thing. And now it looks like this is all a part of the same thing. So what's cool is that now we can put all our texts and the rest of our site right here, while the header is, the animated header is going to be up here. So let's go ahead and animate. At keyframe, we're going to call it wavy. And then at 50%, we're going to say transform. translate on the x-axis. And in order to find out how far I want to go, because if I, for example, put here 300 pixels, it's going to really go wild. So let's just see how far I should go. So if I go, 30, let's see, we have about 30 here. Yeah, about maybe 30 pixels back and forth. Let's try that. So 30 pixels. Then we'll go straight to our front wave. And we'll say animation wavy over 4 seconds. And as you can see, it's kind of moving back and forth there, but only moved once. So let's just put here infinite. And there we go. There's the front wave moving back and forth. It's still within the SVG viewport. And so we can do the same thing with the back wave. We'll do the same thing, but we're going to say 6 seconds so that they're not at the same time here. And so now they both go back and forth, but at different rates. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the sun set. So let's do a new keyframe here, sunset, and then we're going to say 2, and then transform, translate, but this time I'm going to go on the y-axis. So what I want it to do is I want the sun to set and slow down right before it gets to here, because I don't want it going all the way down here or anything like that, because it's going to go too quickly. And since the default state of keyframes of the animation is ease, it's going to slow down. So let's see how far it needs to go to slow down. So we're going to start here. We're at Y23. And let's just keep going. Let's keep going. And I'll also show you what's going on here with it going in front of the wave instead of behind, but we can fix that later. I'll show you in a second how that's going to work. So we started out at about 23, I think it was, and then we're going to go down to 305. So we're adding 220 or so. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go 220 pixels. Okay. And then we're going to go to our sun. And we're going to say animation sunset. And we're going to do that over 10 seconds. And we want it to stay that way, so we're going to say forwards. So now it's going to go down. And it looks like 220 isn't the area. So let's go down a little further. But before we do that, let's go to our sun. And we want our sun to go behind everything. So to make our sun go behind everything, we have to take our path right here, okay, which is the sun, and we have to cut it and paste it. So we're going to cut it right here. Okay, say X for cut, and then we're going to paste it behind everything. So we got to put it first. Very good. So now it's going to go behind everything. So let's go ahead to 280, and now it should go straight behind the water here. And slow down just like we want it to, and there we have it. It slows down and it's behind. Now what I also wanted to do is after the sun goes down is when I want this welcome to appear. So let's create a new keyframe called show welcome, and it's going to go 2, opacity of 1. Okay, so that means we got to start our welcome with an opacity of 0, and then animation show welcome. It's going to happen over 1.5 seconds, and I want it to delay the amount of time that my sun is. So the sun takes 10 seconds, so I want it to delay after 10 seconds, and then be forward so that it will show up and stay forwards. Okay, so let's see how that works out. It's setting. When it finishes setting after 10 seconds, it says welcome. So this 10 seconds here, we're going to make this come up just a little bit sooner. So let's just go ahead and say 8 seconds, just so that it will show up just a little bit beforehand. And there we have it. So now that we have this all set up, we have our animations all set up. What I would like it to do now is when I click on it, I want it to be able to restart this animation. So it's pretty simple if you know a little bit of jQuery. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how to set that all up. So let's go ahead and add our jQuery here. Go ahead and initialize our jQuery. Okay, so now that we're all initialized, what we're going to do is we want to be able to click on this whole area here. Okay, so let's give our SVG an ID. Let's call it Vista. Okay, and so now we're going to say Vista on click. Okay, so when we click, this is what's going to happen. So the first thing that's going to happen is we're going to go to our sun, and we're going to target the CSS, and within the CSS we're going to target animation, and we're just going to change that to null. So basically we're just going to erase the animation. We're going to erase whatever is under sun animation. So we're taking this and we're just blanking it out, which means that it won't happen. Then immediately after that, we're going to, at the same time, but it's going to put it, we're going to put a delay to it. We're going to say set timeout, and we're going to give the timeout 10 milliseconds, so it can happen almost instantly. And we're going to say function and in this function we're just going to go ahead and get to this same line here, the same code line, but instead of null we're just going to say we're going to leave this blank, which means that it's just going to revert to what's already in the animation. So let's go ahead and try that. So now the animation's already concluded. When we click on it, it starts up once again. But now we want it to start again and the welcome to start again. Now get how easy this is going to be. All we have to do is add to this the welcome animation, and add to this one the welcome animation. So now when this is over and this comes up, when we click on it, the whole thing starts once again. Okay, so now just to complicate this, now if you want to be done with this is exactly what you're looking for. This is all you need. But I'm going to take it one step further. Let's imagine that I take this to my boss and my boss says, "Oh, this is awesome, Roberto, but what I'd like is for this to show the user that they can click on this again to start up again. So I would like this to have some sort of prompt. some sort of prompt that says click to restart. And I say, okay, boss, that doesn't seem too difficult. What I would do is I would go back to my method draw and I would add another piece of text here that says click to restart. Okay, so now I have this thing here that says click to restart. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so now we have this. We're going to go to view source, and if I click here, you can see click to restart. It's right here. Okay, so we're just going to highlight the click to restart, say copy, come back to my SVG and add that text to my SVG. And here's click to restart. Of course, now that we have click to restart right there, we're going to add the keyframe for that. So we already have a show welcome here, so we're going to use the same one. But oh, and we also got to give it an ID. So let's go ahead and give it that text and ID here. Let's give it restart. Okay, so now that we have restart, we're going to go to restart here. We're going to start the opacity. Actually, we're going to give it all of this. Copy and paste. Now you might be saying, well, why not just add restart here? Well, because I don't want it to start right away with the welcome. See, right now it's going to start with the welcome. I don't want that. I want it to be welcome. I want them to take it all in, and then I want this to come up. So I want its delay to be about 2 seconds behind the welcome. So we're going to start it like that by stacking it. So now when the animation begins like this, the welcome comes up and then click to restart comes up, which is a lot nicer. So what we're going to do is, all we have to do here is add restart to it. So now when the entire animation happens, we have welcome, click to restart. Oh, okay, I can restart. And there we go. The whole thing restarts. And there we go. And we have our waves going back and forth. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.